The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Shaylin Herrick. I'm the Director of Marketing here at SOS Online Backup. I will get started here in about 30 seconds. I know we're a little bit late, and I apologize for that. If you could just type in the questions tool, if you can let me know if you can hear me, and if you can see my screen, that would be great. That'll let me know that we are good to go. So I'll hold on for just 1 minute here while those responses come in. Okay. Darren says we're good. Can everybody else hear me okay?
Yeah, this is John Wagner, Chief Sales Engineer for SOS Online Backup. I also just joined. And Shaylin, I can hear you fine.
Hi, John. Okay, great. I'm glad you're on the line.
Great.
All right. If I do not have anyone else, I'm going to assume that Darren is correct. Seems like a good guy, and we are good to go. Okay, so SOS Online Backup has been around for about 11 years, and we've had an extensive partner program for about 2 years. So what we're going to talk about today is an industry overview and examination of the opportunity of selling online backup in your business. I'm going to assume that most of you are managed service providers. If you are or are not, please let me know. I'm very curious. We'll review the SOS 360-degree partner program and all the features within it, the SOS ServerSafe product, which John will demo towards the end of the webinar, and the competitive landscape for SOS ServerSafe. So by selling it, what kind of competitive landscape does it put you in as a business? And we'll also look at our data centers and infrastructure, our pricing, and then, like I said, we'll do a quick product tour. And you will be entered in a drawing to win a Kindle if you ask a question. So we love interaction, and we love talking to you guys about what your needs are and learning more about you. So please do ask questions so you can be entered to win a Kindle. Like I said, SOS Online Backup's been around since 2001. It started in Melbourne, Australia, and moved over to the United States in 2006. Our U.S. headquarters are in Los Angeles. And we also have offices in Kiev, Ukraine, and Chennai, India. And we have a large number of customers and partners, as you might imagine. We have over 500,000 active customers and over 600, really, active value-added reseller partners, just like you guys. So what has made SOS successful and what will make you as a business successful by selling online backup? Number one, far and away, is expansion of internet bandwidth. People need to be able to put stuff up into the cloud in order to do online backup, right? And they need to be able to do it quickly. This is part of the reason for our global infrastructure, because we want our customers and our partners, no matter where they are, to be able to upload and recover data very quickly. And we'll get into our infrastructure a little bit later. But expansion of internet bandwidth is a primary driver for the burst of adoption in online backup. Number two is decrease of hosted storage costs. So you guys probably know this firsthand. It's so much cheaper to buy a 1 terabyte external drive, for example, down at your local electronics store than it is these days than it was, 6 years ago. I don't know exactly how much more expensive it is, but it's probably, at least 30% the cost that it was 6 years ago. Also, the population is aware of what online backup is. The general populace is aware of what Coca-Cola is, right? Far fewer people are aware of what online backup is, but that number is growing, and it's growing very rapidly. So when you say cloud backup to somebody and you walk into their office and you're about to try to sell it to them, it's not a mystery. They're aware of what it is. And significant increase in size and value of digital data. Everyone, no matter what kind of business they run, is creating digital data. Even if they're running a business that isn't necessarily computer-based, they're still using computers. They're using a mobile phone. They're creating digital photos, digital videos, just digital items that they don't want to lose. So why would somebody back up online versus backing locally with tape? I know in some markets where internet bandwidth is still expensive, tape may be a viable option, but there are some reasons why that's going to change very soon, and in most countries it has already, primarily North America, it's already changed. Online backup costs will soon fall below on-premises tape disks while providing vastly superior superior functionality. So what's that superior functionality? Well, it's more reliable, for one. You're using a more reliable software system. And number two, you are backing up off-site. So no matter what happens at your location, no matter what happens where the tape is, your data is going to be okay. And it can be geographically redundant if you want it to. So let's say you're in Cape Town and you want to back up to the Cape Town data center. You could also be redundant to Toronto if you wanted to. We can make that happen for you. So who are your customers? For those of you that are on the line, I'd love to know who you're servicing. Are they like medical practices? Are they larger businesses, smaller businesses? How many employees do they have? Because what we see, based on the industry data that we look at and what we know from our own customers, we're seeing a massive adoption in small to medium-sized businesses. And when I say small to medium-sized businesses, we're thinking like 10 to 500 employees. 500 plus is what we would consider to be enterprise. And why are these businesses moving towards online backup? Number one, because it's cost effective for them. Number two, because they can hire people like you to come in and use your IT expertise to set up their disaster recovery plan for them. And what kind of system do they want? Well, this is really important. They want total online backup protection. They want to be able to back up absolutely everything within their business with one system. Many of you might be using multiple systems. I know Backup Assist is a popular one-off backup system to use for SMBs, but it's not all-inclusive. SOS Server Save is all-inclusive. You can provide complete business continuity and disaster recovery with one system that also does reporting, by the way, to your customers. So what's in the SOS 360-degree Partner Program? We're very proud of this program because it is literally a business in a box. When you talk to any of our partner specialists, they may say this phrase, and it's not just salesperson talk. It's really true. It really is a business in a box. And the reason for this is what we call our web integration package, as well as the marketing materials that we provide to you. The web integration package, which we'll go through later in our demo, allows you to sell online backup online on your own web presence. And it's really, really quick and easy to get up and running. You can also sell in your own local currency, and you can choose from your option of payment gateways. You can choose Authorize.net, PayPal, PayPal Pro, or eWay. And there will be more to come. This is also integrated billing. So when you sell online backup online with your own site through this package, you do not pass any of that money through us. It all goes to you. It's your online backup. You bought it from us wholesale, and you will sell it and keep your margin completely. So we, of course, offer a rebranded, and that just means your logo put on our client, the availability of rebranded sales and marketing materials. We offer weekly live trainings. There is no hardware purchase required in this program, so upfront costs to get started are very minimal. We like to say that it's like your phone bill. And, of course, this is award-winning software. You guys probably already know SOS Online Backup has won the PC Magazine Editor's Choice Award for online backup for 4 years now. And we expect to do it again this year. So what other competitive programs are you looking at? I know that there are a lot out there. For the ones that we hear about most often are Intronus, Doyens, Asigret, and XZ. I'm not going to go through and nitpick each of these guys, but I will highlight the major differences that SOS has that just isn't out there in the marketplace. Number one is business development assistance. It's very uncommon to receive that as a post-sale opportunity. So we have a business development manager here in-house that will work with you on developing email campaigns. He'll talk to you about developing pay-per-click campaigns, and he'll consult me, Director of Marketing, if necessary on any of these items. And he'll point you to the right rebranded marketing materials to use. He'll help you overcome your challenges. He'll help you develop pitches to go into businesses and start selling online backup. As I mentioned, there is no hardware required with this program, which is largely advantageous for people who are looking to get into selling backup without a major financial commitment. We offer data centers in 11 locations. And our newest location will be in South Africa, and that should be live by the end of next week. And that would be a military-grade data center you can back up, and I believe it will be in Cape Town. We also offer data centers in the United Kingdom, in London, several data centers in the United States, Canada, Australia, India, and Ukraine. You can elect any of those data centers specifically. Generally, our backup center is in the United States. Our Los Angeles or Houston data centers are most commonly used if you do not request one. So what's the SOS Online Backup Product Suite? What do you get generally as a partner when you sign up for SOS Online Backup's partner program? You get total server backup, total endpoint backup, total laptop protection backup. And you can sell any of it however you want to your customers. We don't dictate how you provision your gigabytes. We don't dictate how you provision your server licenses. You will be able to sell backup and support for Exchange servers, and we'll see a demo of that, SQL servers, Windows servers, file servers, SharePoint servers, basically any kind of Windows-based server that a small to medium-sized business would have. SOS Server Save in the SOS Partner Program can back it up. And you'll be able to manage all of it from one centralized portal that we call the Partner Dashboard. And you'll see that later as well. I'd actually like to stop quickly and see if there are any questions. I know that we do these webinars every couple of weeks for those of you in Europe and Africa, and we don't have a lot of questions today, so please feel free to ask. Don't be shy. So what's involved in SOS Server Save? SOS Server Save, by the way, is your key to backing up entire businesses with one platform. You get Exchange, backup, and granular recovery. This means you'll be able to recover mail items, messages, contacts, and more. Basically, any item that exists in a user's inbox can be backed up with Exchange, backup, and granular recovery. We've got a question from John. In Europe, must the data be kept on European servers? It's entirely up to you. Europe and the United States do have, and I say Europe, I mean the European Union, and the United States do have an agreement about information sharing. If there ever was some kind of investigation, U.S. and EU are obliged to share that data with each other. So if you feel more comfortable, or perhaps you have clients with requirements to back up in Europe, we can sure do that in the London Data Center. If not, it's up to you. The data center is your choice. You can back up to the United States, Canada, Australia, any of the above. Hopefully that answered your question, John. Bare metal image creator. This is our bare metal system. This backs up and makes entire images of Exchange, Windows servers, SQL servers, SharePoint servers, and file servers. And you can control these from one central location and quickly send images to the SOS Cloud. And you do this with Online Backup and Recovery Manager. This is your tool for sending and getting back bare metal images, files, and folders in the cloud. And it does it very, very fast. Workstation backup. This is your tool for backup and recovery for laptops, workstations, and file servers, of which you can do up to 5,000 depending on your package that you pick. Premier Web Integration Package. This is your customized web integration package. So this means a basic website template that you can modify the content of, and you can change metadata on. You can create basic landing pages, perhaps for paid search campaigns, and you will get your e-commerce shopping cart. You also have access to generically branded Android and iPhone applications. So we talked about competitors a little bit earlier, but this slide is just to highlight how different SOS Server Save is from Carbonite and Mozy. Carbonite and Mozy are not reseller programs that are offering complete business backup. And you can see that by the lack of filled-in circles over on that side of the chart. SOS Server Save is your total business backup solution. It's got bare metal backup and recovery, secure multi-device sync. So by logging in to one account, you will have access to your data on any of your other device locations. So let's say I have all of my data backed up on my PC, but I also have the SOS Android app. And in this case, it would be the Managed Offsite Backup Android app, so generically branded for you. I would be able to access all of my data that I had backed up on my PC via my Android app. I could share those files, I could recover them, I could view them if they were photos, or if I had a PDF viewer, I'd be able to do that. It's very, very complete. Later on, we'll talk about the type of bare metal backup that we use, and that is transactional and consistent bare metal backup, as opposed to crash consistent bare metal backup. This is definitely superior, especially if you are backing up SQL servers or databases that are doing a lot of transactions with other databases or other systems. We'll also look at central management and reporting. And of course, Exchange Backup and Granular Recovery. This is by far our most popular feature and most necessary for most SMBs. And you get that all in SOS Server Safe. So who does SOS Server Safe compete with if it's not really Carbonite and Mozy? Well, it's Zenith, Intramus, and eVault. You guys probably have heard of them before. SOS Server Safe definitely stands out among the pack in mobility and per seat access. So like I just talked about, the example I gave where I back up everything on my PC and then I look at it, I access it, I share it via my Android application, that's seriously a place where SOS Server Safe shines. Our competitors just aren't as mobily accessible as we are. And frankly, if you're a small business, that's a big advantage to you. You want to be able to go out there on the field doing work and recover data when you need it. You never know when a client might need information and you'll be able to pull it up on your mobile phone. So what's the competitive landscape like? Well, number one, most guys out there haven't won the PC Magazine Editor's Choice Award for 4 times. You can tell that we're very, very proud of this. And I'm not going to be quiet about it because it's definitely something that we do feel a great deal of pride in the company, and it's an area where we shine, and we won this award because of our security and simplicity to use the program. So if you guys have looked at SOS Online Backups Partner Program about 8 months ago, it would have looked very different than it does today. 8 months ago, we would have lived in this little blue box's competitive space. And this is a very crowded area. This is just file and folder backup for micro businesses and SMBs, so only endpoint protection. And competitors in this space are CrashPlan, Mozy, Backblaze, Carbonite, all guys that you've heard of. But we wanted to expand, and we wanted our partners to be able to expand with us. So by introducing SOS Server Safe, we were able to take on this entire competitive segment all the way from micro businesses to enterprise server backup. And that means bare metal cloud backup. That's the cornerstone of the program. So when we were talking about bare metal image creator earlier, that means taking an entire image of a server and putting it up in the cloud. I know John, our chief sales engineer, just did this the other day for one of our employees. Our graphic designer who has, I don't know, probably 100 gigs on his machine and various external drives. John did an image and brought it back down and restored his computer completely when he had a hard drive issue. So we love the system, and it definitely makes your business, when you're reselling it, apply to a lot of other SMB types. We do have data centers in London and South Africa very soon. South Africa should be live by June 30th or July 1st. So very soon, if you are in South Africa and you come online today, by the time that you have your entire online backup package, our South African data center will be live. All data centers are secured with 24/7 watch, video surveillance, biometric credential requirements, backup generators, and temperature and humidity controls. Your data is safe, and your client's data is safe as safe can be. So these are our Tier 3 and Tier 4 data centers, and we have 11 global points of presence. We do have multiple data centers in the United States. And like I said, you can choose your data center that you want to back up to. Just let your partner specialist know. So what about our price plans? And this is where people generally have a lot of questions, so please don't be shy. Feel free to ask. We do offer flexible plans to help you get online backup business started and running. SOS doesn't limit your margin or take a commission. This is purely a wholesale program. Once you get started, let's say you get started on SOS ServerSafe 5, which means you get 5 server licenses, which you can use to back up any kind of servers you like. Your monthly price is $399, and that is US dollars. And from there, you don't pay anything extra. Very simple. You simply wholesale the cloud space that you've been given and the server licenses that you've been given. And you can add server licenses, even single server licenses, later on if you are growing your business, and hopefully you are, because we have business development assistance available to help you after you get started. The bottom line on the chart is the monthly margin per package that you can make. So we recommend selling each server license, regardless of what kind of server it is, with 250 gigs with it for about $129 a month. That will be a massively competitive price for you. Now, you can go way up from there. You do have partners that sell one server license with 200 gigabytes for $500 a month. Depending on where you are and what your specific geographic location's competitive landscape is like, you can definitely change this. And also depending on the type of managed service that you're providing. Are you providing an entire disaster recovery plan? If so, you can certainly charge more for your package. And as you can see, as you go up to SOS ServerSafe 25, which has 25 server licenses for you to provision and use however you like, your margin can definitely increase. So SOS Online Backup is here to get you selling online backup. We've got business development assistance in place, and we have an e-commerce portal in place for you to use to have a web presence if you don't have one already. Are there any questions here? I'll pause for just a minute for questions if there are any.
Yeah, anything from Ali or Darren? I'm assuming you gentlemen love it, and you're going to sign up right after this call, which would be lovely. But we do want to know any concerns you have or questions.
And especially because John's about to start the demo, so we do want to make sure that he shows you everything that you need to see.
Yeah, and I would add to that if there are some particular items that are very important to you, please tell us in the questions box, and I'll make sure that I speak about that.
Let's see, John asked, is monthly server cost an extra cost per month or just additional for licenses? No, it's not an extra cost per month. So let me just explain this on the screen really quickly. So your cost to enter the program is $399 per month, and that gives you 5 server licenses. If I take $399, let me see, I'm going to do it right here on my calculator so that I don't make a mistake. If I take $399 divided by 5, I get $79.80. So that is the cost per server. If you sell each of those for $129, then your margin per server license is $49. So the baseline fee here to enter the program is $399. And if you do enter on an annual basis, we are able to decrease that significantly because we want to get you guys started and all in and ready to go. I think that we are offering until June 30th 3 months off with an annual program if you do sign up and pay annually up front. So that's a significant savings. Does that make sense, John? Please let me know if it doesn't, and I'm happy to go back to it. Okay, great. All right, I am going to hand the controls off to John Wagner here.
All right, so I'll just do that because it's probably hard to tell. Make myself organizer.
Okay.
Or make present. Oh, there we go.
Does that work? Okay.
Yeah, as long as you can see my screen okay. Shannon, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can. Azam asks, what are the prices, or what is the prices for UK? Are they the same as in US? The prices for the UK are increased if you want to back up in the UK only. And I believe that increases approximately 15%. But if you want to back up in the US, then your prices are the prices that we just saw.
Okay, gentlemen. So Shaylin did have an overview of the products, what we have. So I'm not going to explain it again. I'll kind of go into it and show it to you. But the summary is, we're trying to give you a solution to back up your laptops, your workstations, your file servers, your databases, Exchange servers, whatever it is. And we have, online backup for your folders and files. We have image backup for local backup of your servers or workstations. And you'll be able to recover the same hardware, the similar hardware, even to a virtual environment. You also be able to upload those images to the cloud if you want to. It has extra copies up there. We also have an Exchange granular recovery application. So I'm just going to dive right in. So the first thing over here is, I'm sorry, looks like we have a question. If a client fails to back up overnight, who is responsible to fix the issue, SOS or the reseller? So you're managing the relationship with your customer as far as their backup. So our name isn't going to be on the software product. It's going to be rebranded in your name. This is for John. And so you're going to be supporting your customer. So the idea is that, they don't know that SOS exists. However, if they do need some assistance, you'd be able to just give them our phone number, and we will help them if you like, if you're too busy or something like that. I hope that answered your question, John. If it didn't, please just refine it or ask me more. Okay, gentlemen. So we have our partner dashboard. So this is the one place that you're going to log in to get more information, updates, and news. This stuff is very important. Like you see here, hey, look, the generic Mac application just came out. Many partners were waiting for that. So when they logged in one day and they saw that update, they were very thrilled because we have partners that have been with us for several years, and they've been waiting for the Mac, the latest Mac application to come out that can be branded in their name. And when they saw this update on June 15th, they were very excited. So we also have our partner rebrand resources on the right-hand side there. You notice it says Partner Support Hotline. Many of our partners didn't know what the phone number was. It was in their email. We told it to them, all these things, but they just didn't have a program in their phone, whatever it was. So if you need help, we want to help you with whatever you need. If you need help with some training or you need help setting a backup, whatever that is, you're our partners. Trust me, you're more important to us than the rest of our customers, because we sell more online backup to our partners. So we want to help you be more successful. You can see here we have the central management. That's to monitor your online backups. You can see in the middle there, on the left-hand side, we have online backup and recovery, and then we have server backup and recovery. The online backup and recovery section right here, this is mostly, primarily used for creating an online backup account for your customers. So you can see here, we have basically 1 million gigabytes provisioned there. And I might be wrong on the math, excuse me, but the whole point is that it's going to show how much storage you purchase from us up front, and you can then provision backup accounts against that for your customers. You'd be able to just create a backup account here by hitting this button. Excuse me. You type in the full name of your customer, password, give them a username, question and answer. Maybe they want UltraSafe, where maybe they have some HIPAA compliancy. They have some requirement where the password can't be recovered for some security reason. And usually, if they have a requirement, it's there because the third-party vendor that's storing your data must have no way of accessing it. So what you would do is you'd actually would remove any password recovery option. But that's one of those things where if they lose the password, then it's gone. Most customers are going to do a question and answer, and then you select your plan for you as a partner, and then you select some backup plans, and then you hit create. And then you'd also be able to assign a service license, which would be the image creator and the Exchange granular recovery. If you were to create an online backup account, and for a customer a couple months ago, all of a sudden you're like, hey, they need to have image backup and EGR, you'd be able to go into manage licenses, and if you had one of these available that wasn't assigned, you'd be able to hit and assign, and then type in the username, and then it'd be assigned to that. So you hit unassign here, and you would see that, well, I don't want to assign this, but you would see that it becomes available and you can assign it. And once you do that, what we have here for is we have the Server Save Installer. So you would download this, like I did right here. And this is going to download, basically, like I said, the Server Save Installer. The Server Save Installer is designed to help you get the applications installed and licensed. So I'll do that right now. So we'll run this. And then I'm going to log in with that user account I just created. And then we're going to see, there we go. So you can see here, this is basically, you don't have to log into this to open the program. You just use it to basically install what is needed and then also license. You can see here license details. We have the license key for Image Creator. And a license detail for EGR is a license file. You would save this to the installation directory where EGR is installed. And once you do so, you'd open up EGR and say, hey, where's the license at? You'd point to that file, and there you go. Right here, it'll say update available. We do have auto update notification in the tray for OnlyBackup and Recovery Manager. However, if you open this, it would also update available if that were the case. On the right-hand side here, we have Workstation Backup. This is one of our older software clients that we used to use. Some of our partners still use this version. It is older. It's on the older technology, but some of them still want to use it. However, I would suggest using the latest and greatest OnlyBackup and Recovery Manager we have here. All right, I'm going to close this. Let's see if you have any questions. I do have one question. For one of our customers, we back up about 400 gigabytes each night in a 12-hour window. How does it compare to time taken by online backup? Well, we're not doing full backups each night. In regards to the server backup, where you're backing it as an image, it'll do one full image one time, and then just incremental images going forward. This method is very reliable. It has self-healing in it. If there's any corruption in it, it'll fix the chain of backups. So there's no need to do full backups anymore. You're back on a disk, you have plenty of space. The incremental images are quite small, so they can go to the cloud very fast. So you won't really be doing a 400 gigabyte backup each night. Same thing with online backup. If you're 400 gig already in the cloud, we're going to scan those folders. Say, if you look for it at night, we're going to scan those folders and see what files have been added, which are new, or files that have been changed, and just upload those. We won't upload the entire 400 gigs every single time. So it'll probably be a lot faster for you. Hopefully I answered your question there, Lee. All right, so I'm going to minimize this page here, and I'm going to show you the applications. I don't need this one. Pardon me. Okay. What we have in front of us is we do have what we call Image Creator. This is powered by our partner StorageCraft. If you're familiar with it, that's good. Probably know how to use it. And this is going to create the bill of image for us. Ali is saying, how does this work if you wanted to recover a file, say 1 month old or maybe a year old? Well, in regards to the online backup of the folder and file, if you have the online backup installed on a server or a workstation or machine, and you are backing up, certain folders and backing up every single day, we're going to have versions of those files. So in regards to Ali's question, we're talking about, he says a file. So the example would be, let's say it's an Excel spreadsheet that you work on every single day. And you back it up every single day, all the changes, the file hasn't changed location, it's in the same folder. We're going to back up the file, and depending on its size, we're either going to upload the entire file each night or upload just the changes to that file, meaning the delta copy. Now, we are not going to charge you the size of the file every single day when we upload it. What we do with our unlimited version history is we will only charge you for the largest version that you upload of that file. So if that file is 5 megabytes after a year, you're only using 5 megabytes in total for that file. even though we're actually storing and holding more data. But you'd be able to actually access that Excel spreadsheet any day that you want to. We have a calendar you can use. We have a Classic view where you can just go to the file and hit a drop down for the version, and you'll see the date and time next to it. Hopefully that answers your question. Excuse me. All right, so with Shadow Protect here, notice on the right-hand side is the network view. This software does have its own built-in centralized management. So you can also install this on, say, another workstation on the network for free, just to monitor the backups or control them if you wanted to. However, you do need a license key for each machine you install this product on where you're doing a backup. But if you're just monitoring it and you're just using it for recovering the files, you don't need a license key for that. So make sure that's clear. So I already have a backup job set up here, and we'll go through and edit that with you gentlemen so you can see that. You see I took my C drive. I'm having it go to the E drive on this computer. We do recommend usually that you go to a network location. So you would set up a folder share on another Windows machine, and then you type in the path of that shared folder. We recommend that you back up to another Windows machine because you don't want to have your backups be saved to maybe an external drive on your production server, because if the production server goes down, it'll take you long to get it up and running. Additionally, if you wanted to use the virtual boot option of actually virtually booting one of your virtual machines, they're right on site. You would need to have that on a Windows box. You can use a NAS if you want to, but our recommendation is always use a Windows machine, and you don't need to buy any hardware for this. You can just find an existing desktop that's at the customer's business already. It probably already has enough hard drive space to store your images. If not, maybe you can install an extra drive. But we suggest this to try and save you money. You don't have to go out and buy another machine for it. You can use the machine already on site, put a bigger drive in, and back up to that. Many of our customers do that to save money. You can see here we selected continuous incrementals. This is a backup job we recommend that you use, not monthly or weekly. There's no need to do those because they create more full backups, taking it more local and more on the storage space. Continuous incrementals will create one full backup, and then incrementals whenever you set. So I have this one set to do just a regular incremental image Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, just once a day. However, if you had a requirement where a customer wanted backups more than once a day, then you would check the box in the bottom portion here. You say, I want to back up every single hour, which it'll create an incremental image every single hour. You just need to make sure that you monitor your storage space if you're doing lots of incrementals. We have a question here from Ali. How long would a typical image of a server take with, say, 200 gigabytes of data based on average broadband speed of what? So what we've seen with, say, 200 gigabytes of data, this would be your first backup image. We would use, you can see here we have this it's grayed out, but hopefully you can see it. It's a split image file, which means we put that in pieces. And when you put it in pieces, it's able to transfer faster over slower internet connections. Excuse me. So as far as a 200 gigabyte image, let's say over like a 5 meg upload connection, we've seen that take sometimes a few days. It can take a week, and basically you just let it run. And another thing, being that it's in pieces, it makes it easier to stop and start the upload each day for your customers to have their bandwidth. So if that's a concern, that's why we use the split option. What you can do is you can have the online backup run, say, from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and uploading the different pieces of the image, and then then you could have it stop itself at 6 a.m. and then start back up again at 6 p.m. and finish the rest of it. So it's possible your first online backup might take a week or 2 weeks to get done, but that's the reality of online backup. You do have to wait for it. Once that's done, it's very fast going forward. We're just looking for changes in small files. We do have a option called PMU, which means physical media upload, where you can have us do the upload for you to seed. Pardon me. And there's a cost for that, but we also have it so you, the partner, can perform this yourself and not actually make some money on it. where you're doing the first backup for a customer, where you can bring it to a data center if you have one local, and you can do the upload for them. we have a knowledge base article on this. If you would go to our knowledge base and just type in PMU, the physical media upload, you see what I'm talking about. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so split image, we use standard compression, and you can see here under advanced ops, there's performance throttling. So if you want to make sure the server isn't, I don't know, being slower or if it's acting during the day and you want the users to be affected by that, you could throttle this down. On the image tab, you can see here's the self-healing incremental recovery. If there is a problem with the backup where it's creating an incremental image and it can't perform or it can't create the image, it'll actually say, hey, I'm having a problem. I'm going to purge this image. I'm going to get rid of it. The next time I want to schedule backup, I'm going to run a differential backup instead. And it's almost like running a full backup, but not quite. But it's going to run that. Once it's successful, it'll then convert to an incremental, making it smaller. So you don't have to worry about having this big, huge file for self-healing. It fixes itself. And then the commands tab is pretty cool because if you do have any databases that don't have their own backup utility and they don't start and stop themselves, or they don't have their own VSS writer, you could import a script here and probably stop the database, and when the backup happens, and then start it back up again if you needed to. It does still exist. And that's it. So I already ran some backups. You can see here under backup history, the backups do give lots of detail. And you can see here, when a backup runs, it gives you all this detail. So if there was an issue with the backup, you'd be able to see it in here, which is very convenient.
We have a couple questions that we can answer quickly. Zana asks,
okay.
How do you assure customer data security and confidentiality? Well, first of all, SOS employees do not have any access to any of the data backed up in the data centers, and we also encrypt the data 3 times, first locally, then in transit, then at rest in the data center. And John, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, so I would just add that these images here, if you needed to, you could set up an extra password on the images. I mean, I'm going to go on the backup section in a minute. But in regard to setting up your image backup, if you wanted to, you could add an extra layer of security on your images, where once you use the screen, you can do password or use a password file, and then you can choose your encryption algorithm on the advanced tab here and choose that. Now, let's say you didn't want extra encryption on your images. Any file we upload to the cloud does get encrypted to participant AES encryption. It goes over SSL, so whatever SSL is in your country, that's the bit level. And then also, we have 1024-bit encryption on our backup servers. But if you want extra security on top of that, that's where you would use UltraSafe, where you would actually remove the password recovery option in case your customer lost their password. They have to write it down and put it in a safe. That's the most secure you can get. Another question here from John: if it takes 2 weeks to upload the image, what would happen in the event of a disaster and server needed recovery? How long would it take to recover an image of 200 gigabytes? Well, John, I always like to remind people here that online backup is a little different than local backup as we're all used to. Pardon me. The online backup, is designed where if your folders and files are in the cloud, you'd be able to access any of those folders and files immediately by recovering it or sharing it with somebody else. Now, in regards to images, yes, disaster is where they probably lost the building. And we like to remind people that depending on their disaster, we have some options. Okay, one option we have is what we call Cloud Boot. We can recover your images in our cloud and boot that server virtually for you. Then we'll give it a public IP address, and then you'd be able to access that via remote desktop. And if you wanted to, you could probably set a VPN connection to your customer site. That's the option we have available. If you have a customer that does need, that basically lost a building and lost a little copy of their images, and they have a requirement of getting out faster than that, and they don't want to do Cloud Boot, then you would need to provide some other solution for them. Maybe you have an extra copy of their images at your location, possibly, and you could get them back up running faster. If you wanted us to provide a custom solution for you, where they had a failover situation, where we actually had a dedicated server for that customer, and you were replicating information, Well, yeah, we can do that for you too. But in regards to online backup, the data is stored remotely, and I know people are worried about it takes 2 weeks to back up, how long to get back down. That's when you think about the requirements of your customer. How fast do they actually need to get it back? And if they have a requirement, then there's a price for that too. John, hopefully I answered your question there. If you can confirm or ask more questions, I appreciate that. Ali says, sorry for other questions. If it's okay, if a server recovery was required and it takes 2 weeks to back up, and how do we get it restored? What timescales? Ali hopefully answered the question by answering John's question. Does increasing encryption add to backup time? No, it does not. It's still very, very fast. And John says, yes, thanks. Okay, great.
And I'd like to add to that, our most recent release of the backend, which we call version 5.2, does address that issue. So we encrypt in transfer. So that does not increase add to the backup time. So that actually made our software about 40% faster than it was previously.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so everything's in the software here. There is a restore tab where you would use to restore any other volume besides the C drive. So obviously I wouldn't use it here, but if I had my E drive backed up, or if I had another drive backed up, I could restore that live. So an example would be I have the C system drive, and I have the E drive as my just exchange drive. I could actually overwrite E if I needed to, if it was corrupted. The Explore Backup button, I'm going to actually use that with the software closed, because when you install Shadow Protect, it actually adds a right-click feature to the images in Windows Explorer. I'll show you that in a second. Got a question here from Steve. What were those options for Cloud Boot and failover server? Well, Cloud Boot is where your Shadow Protect images are already in our cloud. You would say, hey, John, I need to do a Cloud Boot. We will recover the images. They're encrypted, so it might take an hour or hours to decrypt them, depending on how big they are. If they're huge, it'll take hours. Typically, you can restore some of those images in an hour or two and then boot them. As far as the failover server, you actually will be buying a dedicated server just for this customer, and we can quote different prices on that, but it's going to be, of course, the thousands of dollars. And then there'll have to be some replication set up, either via VPN using Windows application, or using some third-party software that actually does complete replication. But you have access to that server as well. We don't discuss pricing on the failover server though on the webinars. It's a custom solution. Hope that answers your question there, Steve. So a couple more tabs for destination that would show you your network destination if you haven't put in there. Like I said before, backup history and so on. I'm now going to close the software. And one more thing, agent options. You go in here and this is where you configure your email reports for your image backups. Type in your SMTP server, and you'll get emails on failures and successes. Let's see here. Okay, Stephen hit yes. Okay, great. So I told you earlier I was going to show you the right-click feature and Explore Backup. So what you do here is, let me just go to your images here. You see I have them. The first one backup here is a little bit larger. You can see I have it. It's in splits. So SP1 all the way down to SP5, and then here's my images. And here's my incrementals. You can see it actually says incremental image. And I can right-click on any of these, and you see it says Mount and Quick Mount. Quick Mount will just quickly mount the image as a Windows drive letter, so you can access anything inside of that you need to. It'll also let you connect to EGR, Exchange Grant Recovery software, to do Exchange Grant Recovery. But if you just need to get a folder file out of here, you could just do that, and you can open this up, and you can pull out a file or folder that you might need. Another option here is where it just says Mount. The Mount option is basically just a little more advanced. It gives you more information about the image. It tells you the machine name. It'll tell you which OS you're using, if there's a service pack on it, that kind of thing, like that. Back, over here, more information. I want you to verify that's the image you want to select for it to mount. And you can pick your drive letter. You can also say allow writes, which means when it's mounted, I want to be able to change information inside or modify it, and that'll basically save it to the image. It's no difference. So, being that we do have one of those drives mounted, we actually have two drives mounted now. I'm just going to get rid of one of them because the F drive is the method image that I've already prepared in EGR to show you that next. So you can see here, we do have our source is basically the mailbox database on that F drive. Let me show you real quick. So I can go target, and I can go browse, and you can see here in the drop down that F drive is one of my images that I mounted. I went to the mailbox database, and it shows the EDB file. It finds the transaction logs, okay, and I hit OK. And down below, I actually made a connection to my live Exchange server. So I can actually do a recovery. So what I'm going to simulate for you gentlemen here is I'm going to say that user 1 lost this message from user 2. It's gone. Hey, I need to get it back. You're like, no problem. You go to user 1 up here at the top, search tool. You type in the criteria of the message. Maybe the keyword was Nortel. It was from user 2. Find now. Open this up. Verify that's the message. Yay, there it is. I can get an attachment if I need to. Close it up after I verified it, and now I can just do a drag and drop right back into the inbox, and it's going to put it back for us. If the message is already there, it'll say duplicate message not copied. And you can see here below, I'll go and verify. There, it's back again. So you can do this drag and drop method as a search method for any item. So it'll do messages, it'll do calendar, it'll do the entire mailbox. So let's say you lost the mailbox and go cover it. You just drag and drop this to the server name, and it'll say, hey, this mailbox doesn't exist. You want to create it? It'll launch a wizard. You'll create the mailbox, and then you can drag and drop it again to actually add the data. The drag and drop methods here are used for anything. So if you lost an entire server and you reinstalled Windows, installed Exchange server, got it ready to go, you could drag and drop this database file here onto the server name and actually do a full database recovery or migration. So the software is very powerful and super easy to use. But a question. While backing up, can server save check for corrupted or infected files? If not, it's that another layer of functionality process are looking for. So we're not doing any antivirus scanning as far as infected files. And as far as corrupted files, we're not doing that either. One of the things that we are doing, so if I'm going to close EGR, unless you have any more questions on that, when the image backup is running, we're taking an image of your disk or the disks, and that's not looking for anything corrupted. That's a very high level backup where you're backing the entire snapshot like a picture, and we're able to back up databases, transactions consistent. We're able to back up anything that's open, no problem, and so that's not going to do any scanning. In regards to the online backup software, we're going to basically protect the folders we want us to back up. So we're not doing any antivirus scanning whatsoever. So we don't do that. And as far as files if they're corrupted, now if you have a file in your system, it's already corrupted. But let's say it's just a file, and then you install SOS. Hey, I want to back up some data. We're going to back up the file just as we found it. However, if we've already been installed and you have a file we've been backing up, and we detect that maybe a file that we've already backed up, and we already backed up one of your files. And let's say you change that file after we backed it up, and that file is now kind of corrupted where it won't read right, it won't copy right, it won't back up right. We will detect that, and we'll turn on self-healing, and we'll actually try and back up another baseline of that file to try and fix the issue. If for some reason it can't back up, maybe because Windows is blocking it or something like that, because it's corrupted, typically we'll back it up anyway, but if it's a file. But sometimes Windows has played some issues where it can't back up a file. Maybe there's like a memory leak. That's happened in Windows 2003 sometimes, where VSS was locking a file, that kind of thing. You might have to reboot a server. But if a file we backed up is somehow maybe corrupted, we will go and try and self-heal it. But if your file is already corrupted, we can't really help that. Hopefully I explained that okay for you, Stephen. Okay, so I'm going to go into the online backup software. I thought I heard. Okay, Steve says I thought I had heard of self-healing. That's pretty cool. Yeah, we're really proud of that. So if there's a problem, back up one of your files the first time, we're going to go and reback it up and repair it. Okay, so on backup software, you can see here, we launched this. We have 4 buttons. I want to focus on the only backup piece of it. You did say local backup here. The local backup is not for your servers. This is only designed for your workstations if you wanted to use it, where you're doing a local backup of PCs. These will be separate backup jobs, separate backup sets. So the local backup is designed for PCs, backup folder and file data. It will encrypt the files as well. And you have to use the software, and you have to use your username and password in order to do a recovery of any of that stuff. Yes, we'll get a copy of the slides, Ellie. No problem. Shannon will send those over to you. We have a restore tab as well. So basically backup and restore make it very easy. And we also have classic view. Okay. So online backup, there's only a few steps here. So you go here, you select your data. I selected the U drive where my images are located. However, you can also select another folder to back up other types of data as well. So basically, let's say we're backing up folder and file data, and we're backing up images all in the same backup job without a problem. You don't need a separate uploader just for the images. Okay, and then I'll select this test document on the desktop. Next step here is, this is the last step, is where you say, hey, okay, I want to run on a schedule. I want to type in my email address for my reports. I want this to back up maybe every hour. Be careful with that, unless you get fast connection. And I also want this to back up while I'm not logged in, or while I'm logged off. That's usually for the Windows servers. If you're just making some changes in your backup schedule and in the backup set, you probably want to back up right now. You don't check this box here and hit finish. It will just save the settings for you. Let's see here. Okay. So I already have a backup running, so I'm going to hit finish, save my settings. And you see here it's in the tray. There we go. So what this does, as Shaylin said earlier, it's 40% faster than a previous backup because she said that we compress and encrypt while it's backing up to the cloud. So actually, we're doing a streaming backup. So while it's being backed up, uploaded, we're compressing and encrypting as it's being uploaded. We changed our method from before. Previously, we were copying your files to the hard drive first, the temporary drive, and compressing, encrypting, zipping, and uploading. Well, we got rid of all that. Now we just upload and compress and encrypt. And if it's a small file, it happens in milliseconds. If it's a larger file, we'll do it in 10 megabyte chunks if it's a big file. Or we'll compress, encrypt, send, compress, encrypt, send if it's bigger. And whenever this runs, it's always going to look for files that have changed and upload the changes for you. Do that. So I'll minimize that for you. There is 4 different recovery methods. Some of those methods are using a restore wizard to restore probably a folder based on a date. So if you have that requirement, you can do so. You'll see we'll have some bold dates in here once it gets done refreshing. This is a catalog file refreshing. And we have some bold dates here. And once you do that, I see all my systems. I can now do a recovery of any of the files and folders of any of these systems right here if I want to. And I can actually do more than one system at once if I want. So right here under Wagner, I could select the folder I want to recover. Now you don't use the restore wizard if you want to recover a folder based on date. So you can do that. You see here I might have some versions of these files. And I can select other systems if I want to. I have some images backed up. I can recover those. Typically when you're recovering your images, you need the entire folder. So the C drive I kind of reserved just for the images, so the E drive, sorry. I could just recover the entire thing and then I'd be able to mount them on my images and then do a restore. Now just one second, I'm not going to do a restore just yet. I'm going to do it in the classic view because the restore, the restoration agent looks the same no matter where you are. So I'm in classic view now, and you can see here I have my system still. The difference with classic view and the wizard is the classic view has the option to delete folders or files. So the question, on the backup will surely add an overhead to the customer's broadband line. What are the recommendations of usage or increase in their lines? This will also be an increase in operation costs. Well, we, some customers want to stay frugal. They don't really care how long it might take. Customers that do want it to be faster, they will pay for it. You can upload a lot of data with a 1 meg connection, a 2 meg connection, a 5 meg connection. All of it, of course, is just going to be faster and more convenient. So there's not really a huge requirement for this to run. It's also just the amount of time that they're willing to wait for it to be uploaded. So if I had it, as far as in the United States, bandwidth is a little cheaper here. So if it was me, I'd say, hey, get a 10 megabit connection, get a 5 megabit connection. It might only cost maybe $100 a month, maybe $200 a month here. So I don't have a really great recommendation because I'm not that familiar with the prices and broadband there. So you'd have to decide what you recommend there. Now we do have the PMU option, which is the physical media upload. So if you're worried about the first full backup taking a long time, you might be charging the customer a fee of maybe $300 to do that for them, and that way, after the first full backup is seeded or already uploaded using us or maybe use yourself, then they'll only have to pay for the incremental changes after the PMU is finished. Okay, gentlemen, so I'm going to keep going here. So I'm going to go into this folder, if it'll let me. Okay, so you can see I have some files in here, and I have some versions. So I can do this. I can drop down. I can add extra version if I need to. And then if I need to, I can also just delete this file altogether. I don't want it anymore. I don't need the versions anymore. I'm just going to remove it. It'll leave an override. We also do secure delete. And I need to get this file back. I select it. Now, if I want the original path of the file, I leave this checked. That's going to give me all the folders. You can see on the left-hand side there we have Wagner, C, users, John Wagner, downloads, and test backup. I'm going to get all those folders recovered when I include original path. I got this box checked here. That keeps the organization for you. So that's kind of nice. Now, if you don't want all that stuff, you just uncheck this box and you hit OK, and it's going to just recover to the default location which says My Restores. Excuse me. And once that's done, I'll be able to open this destination directory up, get the file back. This operation right here, what it's doing is it's downloading the file, it's decompressing it, it's also decrypting it. And I'm opening this up, and you can see our files right there. Now, if I were to leave that box checked like I said before, include original path, I'd have a folder in there with the machine name first. It would be like Wagner. I open that up, it would say C drive. Open that up, it would say John Wagner, or profile name, and so on and so on. So you got a question. What happens to open files? Well, we back them up in VHD files. Well, in regards to VHD files, I'm guessing I'll leave your question there, is if we're in regards to the image backup software, meaning the bare metal backup and recovery, Image Creator, that can back up your VHDs just fine while they're open. That's what's on the backup software we have here in front of us. That's not designed to back up VHDs while they're open. VHDs while they're open, that's more of an entire disk level type backup. And so that's what's not designed to do that. It's more of a folder and file backup software. Now, it can back up VHD files if they're offline. But if you're looking for an online backup of VHDs, that's when you would use Image Creator to do that for you, and it'll do that with no problem. So, for example, if you have like a Hyper-V server, Image Creator will be able to back up that server without any problem. And being that it's using VHS for everything, it's going to be able to back up your virtual machines in Hyper-V with no problem. It'll even make sure that everyone's backup transactions are consistent inside those virtual machines. Okay. Now we have a couple more recovery methods I want to show you, gentlemen. Let's see here. Okay, partner dashboard. Real quickly, I said earlier, you can monitor your own backups. Central Management Portal, you can see here. I have a couple of usernames in here, a couple of customer names. I have green, orange, and red. Basically, this is one dashboard to show you, where you might have some issues with your online backups and who you need to go and fix. So you get the customer account name, and then you get the machine name, so you know where to go and quickly get some assistance to that. And there's some summary here of the backups. You can click on each two. I hope that helps. Okay, we have the My Account system. This is usually used for the customer. If you're managing the backup for the customer, and you would use this for yourself, so you can see I have all my systems listed here, and I can select any one of these, and I can actually go into and look at some data if I need to. Click on that, then I get the C drive, and I can just keep drilling down to the folder file I need to access. One different thing about the My Account system is that you can share or recover any folder or file up to 500 megabytes. If you need to recover anything larger than 500 megabytes, you just use the software client. Now, the software client here, not the upload agent, the Online Backup Recovery Manager does not need a license. So if you need to, you can install this on any other Windows system and do a backup recovery. So let's say you lost a building, you could just log into the software as your customer and recover data, or they can install on a new laptop that is purchased and recover some data immediately. Okay, so I'm still drilling down here. You can see over here I do have versions in here, so I can look at different versions of files. And if I need to, I can share any of these files. Type in the name of the share. I can type the person an email message that's going to receive this. Here is that file you lost. You. Oops. Owe me. I can't spell you. I put yo. So then you can go over here, type friend, type in their email address and their name, hit share. They're going to get an email with a link inside of it. That link will let them download a file or a folder. If it's a folder, obviously it will be zipped. But that's a very fast way of getting a file to an employee or a user that lost a file without you having to go do an extensive recovery first. You don't need to do that. Just do it all for you automatically and send it to them. In this portal, we also do have reporting. So you can do a report based on a week ago, and you can see which systems had a backup, last backup date. You see that we have here, how much was backed up in that day. And then we have a machine backup detail. This is a summary of all the machines. Okay, last backup date, total amount of space each one's using. Okay, I'm moving on. No questions there. We have a mobile portal, m.manageoffsetbackup.net. Here I can log in with my username, and I can also share and recover files or folders via email address. And I typed in the password wrong, excuse me. And on a phone, it's going to look a little bit better, but I'm on a full web browser here. But if I go browse, it's going to stretch out these things here. But you can see here I can keep drilling down. And once I get to an actual folder that I want, I can then do a recovery of that. So if I click on a file here, it'll then say download or share. And of course, share is going to give me email address just like that. And that's it. Moving on, we do provide you with an e-commerce website if you want. We're trying to help you have a landing page for my backup. The reason why we do this is because we know it'll take you time to build a site or a page for this. We are able to take credit card payments with PayPal Pro, which they can pay with PayPal or credit card. This is all set up for you and hosted by us. You'll be able to choose your subdomain. It'll be your only backup name that you choose .onlinebackupcheckout.com. So it's very generic. They're not going to know it's SOS. And the merchant account is set up in your name, so we're not getting any of the money, none of the revenue from that. Anybody that buys from the page that we set up for you, this hosted page, goes into your account. So again, this is designed. We basically give this to you to help you get running faster, and we also give you the ability to change the content of the page as well. There is a back-end management tool for this, and I'll show it to you right now. Here we go, and then this is called Launch Web Package. So I'm going to click on that. And you can see here, this is basically the reseller admin, website admin of your e-commerce page. You can see recent sign up here, recent upgrade requests, cancellation requests, all those things. There's coupon codes if you want to, hand those out sometimes. View plans. You can view the pricing that's on your website. You can change the plans, make them active or inactive. There's trial plans. You can change the content of the web pages. So you can totally manage that yourself if you need to change anything. Basically, I guess someone would say that there's a built-in CSS editor for this. So this is quite extensive for you. You can use support tickets. So a customer could actually fill out a ticket on the website if they need to, and you'd be able to respond to that. Hopefully you gentlemen can see that okay. There we go. That took a while. Sorry about that. There's a mass emailing tool, so if you want to mass email all your customers that maybe are free trials or current customers, you can do that as well. This same tool will also let you upgrade your customers' accounts. So right here we have Mike Ronald. We can view actions, and if we need to, we can reset his password. We can then cancel the account. We can upgrade, edit, view details, and so on. Just like that. And that's basically the summary of what we have to offer. I don't see any more questions, but I do like questions. If you have any, feel free to ask any or any concerns you might have. Now's the time. Sharon, I'll turn this back over to you to show that slide.
Sure. So I just want to make sure that there aren't any additional questions about pricing, because it is really easy to get started and it's kind of hard to believe. I know I had a hard time believing it, that getting started with all of this stuff is as affordable as $399 a month. And I know some people who literally do have cell phone bills that are that expensive. So give me some indication of what your remaining questions are, or what your apprehensiveness may be about the program. John and I are here to help alleviate that. John asked, will pricing structure be emailed after the webinar? It's included in the presentation, of course, as you saw here, and your partner specialist can help you with that as well. Your partner specialist will actually do an ROI analysis with you, which takes you through exactly who your clients are, and also how much you could sell your online backup solution for. So we want to get you started and comfortable with it, and we know from our experience that this is something that will add recurring revenue to your business. So that's the purpose of the ROI analysis, is to take you through exactly for your business how much recurring revenue it will add. And if anyone doesn't know who their partner specialist is, now is a great time to let me know, and I will make sure that that person gets in touch with you. We'll get a person to get in touch with you. I'm not seeing any additional questions, but we do have a full staff in the office right now if you want to call in or call your person. Azan says, do you have a URL which we can go to see what the web page would look like? Yeah, absolutely. What was the URL that you were just on, John?
The URL it's called partnername.onlinebackupcheckout.com.
Okay. Partnername.onlinebackupcheckout.com. Okay.
Yeah. Partnername.
Everybody?
Yeah. Partnername.onlinebackupcheckout.com.
Okay, so there you go. You all should have that URL now. You can check it out. And soon we'll have videos available to show you just how easy and simple it is to use this program. I literally did these videos in 15 minutes to show just how simple it is. You don't have to have any HTML knowledge. It's very, very easy. If there aren't any more questions, we will sign off. But I greatly appreciate all of you attending and all of your questions. And we hope that we can work together soon. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.